Yeah, okay, time to live free. Plenty goals I'm achieving. Some real life topics and talking financial freedom. Mindset, soul and love, everything in between. This is Freedom Podcast. Tune in, live free. Hey, got my mindset right and I got the drive. Planning one day, no more job, no more 9 to 5. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. This is freedom. Tune in, cause it's going down. Woo!
Welcome to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. In this interview, I interview Katy Kruse, and what an inspiring and determined lady. She's 47 years old and she's had several professions over her lifetime span. She started off as a nurse with the idea of becoming a doctor later, but rather she ended up choosing becoming a naturopath for alternative medicine. She, although is a fitness instructor, a personal trainer, a hypnotherapist, just to call a few of her professions, and she's a scanner personality. You may not have heard of this. Several parts are important in her life, which are medicine, sport, psychology, and spiritualism. After an interesting life journey, she's become an online entrepreneur, and it's really created freedom in her world. She's using her knowledge of 30 years that she's spent in all of these different professions and helping these days intuitive and high sensitive women who would like to have a fantastic power body, enough energy, holistic lifestyle, and stay connected with their soul. Physical and soul work belongs together, and that is what she stands for. So I'm really excited to be interviewing Katy in this episode. So welcome to Katy Kruse. So, hi, Katy. I'm really excited about this because I know we've had a few times where we've scheduled our interview, and it's building this up to be like one of the most exciting interviews so far. So, obviously, you know, with the Freedom Podcast, we cover 3 pillars, which is freedom in love, meaning self-care, self-love, love we give out to the world, freedom in money, obviously financial freedom, and then freedom in mind. So kind of like your mindset encompasses it all, really. And it's great to be sort of sharing stories and interviewing different people and different characters. I'm really excited about this one. So I wanted you to kind of like just share us a little bit about your journey initially of how, I know you focus a lot in the kind of like health world. How did you share us a little bit about how you got to this point, really? What Katy's all about.
Yeah, what Katy all about.
Katy Kruse. Katy
Kruse. Not related to Tom Cruise. By the way, my husband's name is Thomas, so he, you know.
Really? I love it.
That's actually quite a coincidence. Anyway, Anna, so nice to be here. Seriously, thank you so much for the invitation. That's really nice. I love to talk about my journey because I like to inspire other women out there who might thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or might be, you know, still, you know, kind of hesitating, not thinking, do I got all the gifts, what it needs, all the talents, whatever. And I tell you what, if I tell you a little bit more about my journey, then I might inspire some of the women out there.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, talking about the pillars, you know, I actually think that I cover all of them because freedom is my main goal, you know, because I became an entrepreneur because I love the idea of being, of living a very, let's say, loose kind of life where you can feel the freedom in every, you know, either way. Is it mindset, is it money wise, or is it, you know, in my case it's also health wise, obviously. You know, how can you stay healthy and be free and feel the freedom at the same time. So I think I cover all of them. But my journey, very interesting. I mean, you introduced me before what I'm all about, knowing that I have all those professions, you know, in 3, let's say, main field: medicine, sports, and psychology and spiritual part. I put them both together. And well, now that I'm working with very intuitive and high sensitive women these days, I call them the women of the new era because it's a new era starting, not just because of the lockdown of what happened in the world, but energy-wise is a very interesting era as well. And all the intuitive women out there feeling it, knowing it is not just when we talk about COVID, it's not just related to that. We all feel it's a different era. And those are knowing that there's more to just physical health, and this is how I started off with, because I became my first sports certification, I think I got when I was 16. I started off really, really young, and I actually got in touch with the medicine world, and this is quite an interesting story here, is when my grandma in her 70s had a stroke. And unfortunately, she was one of those, let's say, patient or who ended up being in a kind of a coma. They're just awake, they're just lay there. Unfortunately, they can do nothing. It was really tragic. And my grandpa in their 70s, in his 70s as well, were taking care of her in my arm, because they were living in one house, and it was quite a story to the whole family, obviously, because everybody knew she's not going to be back to normal, and it was just a matter of time when she actually going to die. It was very tragic, because my grandparents, well, they were married for 50 years, which is unique thing, isn't it? So, and I remember the community nurse coming by, taking care of my grandma, and I was really amazed as a young child. I was a teenager. I was really amazed how those nurses were taking care of my grandma. And this is when I got in touch with the medical field, thinking, oh, this is something I want to do, because there was something else I was experiencing. And I always teach my client that there's a difference between feeling or having feelings while you working or talking to a patient, and suffering with the patient. It's a totally different thing. Showing compassion is one thing, but to kind of become the other person and suffering with that person, that's totally a no-go. And if you cannot separate that, you should not work in the medical field, to be honest. And I kind of discovered, watching those community nurses taking care of my grandma, I was amazed. And there was another thing, why my world's always been combined with those three fields, especially the spiritual part. My grandma, unfortunately, she died a year later. And when we went there for the funeral, my grandfather just had passed also a couple of weeks before. And it was very interesting, because my grandma she hasn't passed at that point. She was still alive while we went there for the funeral. And that night, while my grandmother was given, back to the ground, back to the earth, at that night, my grandma died. And I was next door just because there was an open room to it. There was just like... a curtain in between, and I was the first one in the morning found her. And I remember that it was such a unique moment. It was my first person, obviously, first person.
His first experience.
Exactly.
I remember having that with my grandma. So you remember it imprints, because I was only 12, so I remember.
Totally. I think I was 16, 17, something. And it was such a unique experience, because not just that I was taking care of her, or also kind of with her, where she was taken care of by those nurses, and watching my grandpa and my aunt taking care of her. But on the other hand, it was also this part where I was the first one to found her, and how I felt, and how I kind of cope with this situation, seeing the first dead person. And at that point I knew there's more to life and more to health. Actually, it all came together. And this is where I started, kind of deciding at that point, first of all, I want to become a nurse. I mean, that was the idea behind it, that, okay, I want to become a doctor. But once I became a nurse, I knew I never wanted to be a doctor. So I rather, chose the alternative part, or alternative path, where I'm now became kind of a doctor for alternative medicine, which is naturopath, right? I still don't say it right, don't I?
Yeah, you're perfect. I love your American accent.
Yeah, kind of a mixture, but everybody, who listen to this now, I'm usually just, I'm originally from Germany, and I take care of German clients, so it's the first time that I actually talk and give an interview in English, which is very unique. And it's very nice.
Your English is fab. I love it.
So this is actually how my medical journey combined with the spiritual journey starts. The sport were always on the side as well. My family is into sports a lot. And both of my parents are sports teachers. My father used to be a sports teacher in the police department.
Okay.
My mom, was a regular sports teacher, and it was very interesting. So it's all been given to me, and I needed to make sure that all those three fields are always playing a big part in my life, basically, because I figured out once if I'm just too focused on one part, something else is missing on the other hand. That's the reason why when I became a nurse and I worked in the surgery field, I got bored very quickly and I needed to change fields to get more experience just because I wanted to. And this is when I realized I have this scanner personality. If anybody heard about it, it's if you use this term of being a scanner, it's just a person who has a lot of, let's say, talents and gifts. And you usually, as a scanner, you don't fit in regular society.
Right. Okay.
Because you don't learn just one job. You can't. It just limits you down. You just wanna use all your talents, and if possible, you want to make a job out of it. And I figured once I'm put down in just one part, I worked 30 years as a fitness instructor for classes. And if I'm too focused on just one part, I really miss out on the other, and I can tell. And this is how everything started. And like I said, it sounds now so exciting because like, oh, nothing ever bad happened to you, huh? Besides this grandma story. But I'll tell you what, that's definitely not the case either. Because especially physically, me as a health coach, telling other people out there how to take care of themselves physically, self-care, as you mentioned before. Girl, did I lost myself in between just because life got to me. It's, you never save, basically. And actually, it didn't happen that long time ago. What? I was living in London. I used to live in London for 5 years. And
International.
Loved it. Loved that town. Totally my energy. I love the people there. So colorful.
Why did you move to London? What was the reason what brought you there? If you know what I mean?
Love. Obviously, love. I know, the best reason ever. No, my husband, to be at that point, he was we met in Germany. He's German, but he was working for a bank at that point, and he needed to go back to London. He was just on rotation in Frankfurt for that time. And obviously for me, it was a little bit easier to leave Germany after 1 year of long-term relationship. We kind of looked at it as like, okay, what are we going to do? We kind of, want to get closer. And what's up? Are you coming back to Germany, or should I move to the UK? And he's like, I cannot leave. So why don't you come over here? And that was a very funny story, because he was like, we don't got to stay that long, because I don't want to be in the UK that much longer either. Well, when he said not as long, that meant for him, he thought 1-2 years tops. In the end, it was 5.
Yeah.
So that didn't work out well. And I have to say, at that time I was there, I had an amazing time. I was able to not just work, but also not just that I loved the country, but I was able to kind of, get more certification, get more into medical. I at that point I was studying for automolecular medicine, which is
Okay.
nutrition, to get how you can heal with nutrition, basically. That's the basic.
Yeah, it's interesting because don't you feel like as you grow, you kind of develop all these little parts that kind of then evolve, don't they? So it started with probably the medicine side of things.
Oh, love it.
Moving into nutrition, and obviously you got the spiritual part as well.
I love it.
Yeah.
I tell you what, when you become an entrepreneur and then you want to kind of start off, everybody, well, it depends who you talk to, but they kind of tell you need to narrow it down. You need to make a decision of what you want to focus on first. And it was very interesting because I do have all this experience and all the certification. And I always thought, no, I want to use it if possible, obviously.
Yeah.
But when you become an entrepreneur, and especially an online entrepreneur, that guide you through this, and I needed help from the beginning. I got myself some help, and I had a business coach. I actually had 3 in a row, and it's very interesting when you work with those, how they help you, try to pick up who you are. And some of them understand you a little bit better than others, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it depends on your energy. I remember the first one I chose I had no clue whatsoever. And I needed help to really get a foundation.
Yeah.
And she really helped me out.
Yeah.
Because, I had all the certification, naturopath, personal trainer, fitness instructor, psychology supporter, whatever you call it, and hypnotherapist. Man, there's, you name it, I probably did it. And I probably have, some certification in it. And how you're supposed to narrow it down. And then once you become an online entrepreneur, they tell you, okay, now you need knowledge in IT, marketing. Oh my God, this is so much you need to focus on, and you get crazy. So with that first business coach, she had just helped me to kind of create a foundation where she actually tried her best not to narrow me down or to limit me into one part. She'd like, how can we find something where you can put all your knowledge and all your, everything you want to do into it? And it was a good start for her, but it was not it either. I remember.
Yeah. It's like a good starting point. Gave you a little bit of clarity, but wasn't.
But it was not it. And I tell you what, I didn't get clients. That's it. Everything was kind of developed, and then I had a fan page and website, but no clients. No, I mean, and you get under pressure. You do.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, and then you see your savings shrinking. So seriously, and then but this is when I kind of get into a different energy where I did lost myself as well, physically as well, where I was so desperate about money. I need money. I need clients.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hold my energy level up. So physically, I was not in the best shape either. And I remember with that energy, I did approach a different business type of coach who just was all about, I'm going to make you sell.
Right, yeah.
But obviously, that didn't work out well either, because the fact is that if somebody trying to make you sell, they give you a quick and dirty kind of strategy. But if that doesn't work for you, you kind of lost again.
Yeah, exactly.
And physically, like I said, I couldn't hold on my energy either. I remember, not that I don't get sick, but I didn't feel in shape, to be honest. And
I bet that felt challenging, because obviously you were going to be talking about health to other people.
Yes. And see, and you need to be a role model, ain't you?
Yeah.
If you need whatever you want to sell out there, especially in the health field, you need, I think it's good if you're a role model. Some of the doctors here are so fat and unhealthy, and then they tell you, oh, you just need to put up that lifestyle. This is like, how can that be?
I saw a post recently that said, don't trust a fat coach.
Thank you. It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seriously, you would like to have somebody, who kind of shows you. First of all, it's nice if she understands, obviously, that because she's been there. She maybe has physically lost herself before as well, maybe gained some weight or hasn't been healthy, whatever. So somebody can relate to your problems. Yeah. But now she better, represent herself as somebody like, I know how to do it now, and I keep my energy level up.
Yeah.
And this is what actually happened, because there was one part of me, and I remember traveling back and forth to London, because even though now these days I live in Berlin, but my half of my heart is in London, and I used to travel a lot. Obviously that's kind of had to stop. And
did you have to decide? Your home was Berlin anyway. You didn't have two homes.
No, actually, originally I'm from a part up north in Germany called Bremen.
Okay.
Yeah, but I living in London for quite a while. If you come back to Germany, there's just one option where you can move to, because Berlin is a little bit comparable because you want kind of the same energy, and it's very international.
It
It's
is, yeah, isn't it?
biggest city
Very
in Germany, and
trendy areas and all that kind of thing, isn't there?
we couldn't have go back to any other city, to be honest. There was not that much of an option.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you weren't in a situation when COVID happened that you had to decide whether you were going to live in London or Berlin. Was your home Berlin, even though you travelled?
You know what? It's so, I mean, right now I'm settled and I do love this town, but I have to admit, since yeah, I like my international side as well, and I love to live it. And now that I can't, I kind of feel that something is missing again. And
I feel a little bit like that just with travel in general, because I
yeah,
do live for travel, whether it be, chilling out with the boys, going to different countries, or doing, like I was meant to go to India on a sourcing
oh,
trip.
there you go, love
Obviously
it.
that's out of the window at the moment.
Yes.
So there's, it kind of, yeah, it does. I think it's also when you're told you can't do something, you want to do it even more.
Oh, I'm telling you that today I just made a live about don't put yourself under pressure. If today I made a live about my six best advices I can give you if you want to have regular fitness and then a good nutrition or diet in your daily life, how to do it. And the first part is always never put yourself under pressure. Because
Yeah.
you're craving for all this shit, basically, then you would like to eat a pizza or whatever, just because if you have on your mind this
You
mindset,
can't.
you can't, then obviously you're craving for even more.
Exactly.
And that never works. So I'm always teach my clients about, first one, you need knowledge why it's not good for physically and mentally, and the second thing is give yourself alternatives. There are good alternatives out there. If you're craving for pizza, these days you get good, healthy pizzas out there, which is okay. Just don't grab the cheapest one from Tesco, no?
Yeah. Exactly.
Go for alternatives. That's another one. Yeah, and but I'm telling you, I could not answer that. If somebody put me on the spot, where you want to live forever, I could not answer that. If it would be Germany, because I was quite in the shock coming back here. I love my German people, but at that point, I was always like, did German people always been that conservative and narrow-minded, or is that just me? Or even though in Berlin, it was quite tough for me coming back.
Yeah.
And
So how long did you live in London for?
5 years.
5 years.
And I tell you what, this is when it happened. I lost myself physically. That's another thing why I can relate to all those women out there, because sometimes you lose yourself on the journey because of life, because of decision has made. You might move from A to B, whatever, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a position where you don't feel yourself anymore, not physically, not mentally, not so connected. And today, like I said, since I discovered that, I know now what to do in order to keep my energy level up. It is still challenging sometimes, especially times like these, no? I mean, where you cannot travel as much, and where they give you all those regulations, and and kind of telling you a little bit more in here and there what to do. That's if you like this free spirit. And actually, my program called Fit Spirit, you kind of, at that point, you do feel like you want to break out, no?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's actually the journey also when, becoming an entrepreneur, that you don't start off perfectly. You go through journeys.
You do, exactly. And you evolve as you grow, don't you? Just, and things, we were talking about it actually the other day when we were connected around this, and we were saying that, like I was saying, I feel like I've gone in one big circle, that as my initial purpose I'm fulfilling now. And I think you were saying something similar, that you kind of got to be heart led, really, as in you've got to fulfill that purpose or mission, rather than when we've gone for the money, or we've gone for, so what was it with you that kind of, like, obviously you had these 3 different coaches. When did you have that kind of like light bulb moment of?
That was the last one. They actually came with the last one, because I'm telling you, the first one was all about giving me a foundation. The second one was all about figuring out what I don't want. And you know what, I definitely know, you know what, the strategy does not work for me. And plus the energy of just all about clients and money, that's not me either. And then with the third one, she was the one who actually taught me that I need a reason behind the reason. That was actually quite interesting, because we all have, let's say, a unique reason to become an entrepreneur, because we want to have more freedom in life. You know, that was definitely a reason for me. I want to, you know, I don't know, be on the beach, you know, and then maybe
Yeah,
be able to
laptop
take
lifestyle.
you know, be on a surfboard and still look, you know, that would be the coolest. But you know, at that
What's funny is when I first went online, I had this vision of me being on the beach. And it wasn't until when I was in Portugal once with my laptop outside, I couldn't actually see the screen. There was no shade.
there
I
was
thought, this doesn't actually work, this being on the beach with a laptop business. You need to actually you need an umbrella wherever you go.
I hear. It sounds amazing, but you're like, I cannot see anything, no.
It's too hot.
I need to go back inside.
So go on, sorry.
There was no, but Dave, basically, we all start having a great idea why we want to do certain things. But at that point, you know, the third coach, she was the one who actually made me kind of dig deeper. Like, hey, there need to be a reason behind the reason why you want to do this, because obviously it comes with a lot of challenges. Basically, if you're an entrepreneur and you don't have anybody telling you anymore what to do, and don't even give you guidelines, whatever, and you are totally on your own at the beginning, you know, later on you can build yourself a team, whatever, but at that point, you know, like, you need to have a strong motivation behind it, and a vision, and the energy. And I have to say, the third one was the one who definitely was the one who put me on the spot, saying, everything you told me, that ain't strong enough. I don't think you will, you know, you will last if you're just telling me those, let's say, yeah, money, reason, whatever. And it was interesting because she also is a spiritual person. Her program called Spiritpreneurs. So she actually works with you on a spiritual level, on psychology level, and try, you know, to get that out of you. Like, what is the vision you're having? Why you want to do this? And she really made me realize, yes, I want to do this because I have a vision of seeing women, you know, high sensitive as I am, scanner personalities who have been, you know, traveling in life, because we don't fit in society on daily basis. We don't. And I saw, all of a sudden, I realized I want to have those women. Right now, I'm focusing more on women. Later on, I'm really open-minded to get more guys into my program as well. Right now, I know the women are the more open-minded ones. I have to say, they are the ones.
This is what I've been having in my Amazon group. I'm like, Amazon queens, and then I'm like, okay, and kings possibly.
Yeah, it's possible. But the women right now out there, I have to admit, they're the ones who understand what I'm saying right now. They're feeling me.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that would be trying to hear and try just by listening, but they're not, you know, they wouldn't feel me.
Yeah.
And it's really important. You need clients, and you need people
that connection,
who are feeling you.
Yeah, exactly.
Your message, you know. And women these days, they're feeling what I'm saying, because I never wanted to limit myself down. I'm living a holistic lifestyle, and I know now what to do to keep my energy level up, to be physically on top. I mean, I'm 47, and you can tell, see, I cannot stop. I have all the energy. And obviously some, you know, people look at me like, Katy, what you doing? Where you getting this energy from? But I know now it's a combination of physically, I'm taking care of myself, and I know what to do. You know, exercise, nutrition, how to sleep, all that. That's the, you know, foundation. But also soul-wise, I'm connected with my soul, my institution. I know what to do. And I need to do some inner work in order to get
there. Exactly.
Yeah, and to get there.
Exactly.
And this is what I'm doing today. And you know, the good part is, everything what I did for the last 30 years, all the certification, all the training, I can put all my knowledge into this program now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I know what you mean, because I think, like, as you go on your journey, things just don't always feel right. It's when something feels right that you're like, yeah, I've got it. You know, it is. It's hard to explain till you've gone through it, isn't it? That I've done things in the past that's just not felt right. it's like I'm pushing against a tide, a wave, rather than when you get it right, the waves behind you, you're flowing, and it's just
Exactly.
so nice. You just know
Feel
that
the
it's all,
flow, don't
yeah.
you?
Whereas I used to think all this kind of stuff was a bit woo-woo, but actually, having spent a lot of time on it myself, you just know that it's, like you say, heart-centered and just spiritually aligned and everything. Because at the moment, I just keep getting connected to like amazing women. You being one of them, just like loving all these different connections that I'm making. Just like everyone's just seems to be flowing to me with all these different.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. You can hardly stop the flow or the energy you're sending out. All of a sudden, everything is coming back to you in a natural way.
Yeah,
And I have
exactly.
to tell you, you know what? And sometimes I even tell those women I'm surrounded with, who are still doubting this type of energy. I'm telling them, like, when they're telling me, like, for example, oh, Katy, you just been lucky or whatever. And I said, no, no, no. I don't know. No, it's not about luck. It's all about the energy you keeping up, and let's say, and you're more aware of what you all about. And this is soul connection. That's the reason why I'm saying, even if some women who come and who want to come into me and who want to work with me, they are focusing first of all on the physical, let's say, transformation. They're either way overweight or they're sick, and then they're like, okay, physically I need to know what to do. But on the other hand, I'm like, if you're not willing to work on the inner,
Yeah,
connection,
exactly.
inner world, and I don't even call it mindset. I actually kind of distance myself to the mindset thing out there, because I just believe once you connect it more to your soul, automatically your mind will follow.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm rather talk about physically and soul connection and leave the mindset a little bit out, because I believe it really comes, once you come
Like
back,
it'll naturally come. Yeah,
there
yeah,
you go.
yeah.
And I'm telling those women, I like, no, I really don't believe in that. I don't see, for example, I don't even have women around me anymore who would come up with certain problems, how can I say it? I'm not, for example, I'm not surrounded by non-successful women anymore. I'm surrounded by nothing but successful women in their own path, in their own way. None of them I'm saying are millionaires. That's not the point. Successful for me personally means also that they found their mission and they found their vision they're going after, and they already have clients, and they're keeping the energy up and know what to do. Those are successful women to me, even though they're maybe not millionaires yet. But I have to admit, I attracted all those women as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's fab.
It's amazing. And if women telling me sometimes, like, oh, the other day I had a client who telling me this and that, I've said, interesting that you're saying that, because I don't have clients like that. I have the best clients in the world, and I really, really mean it. Because they're all so willing to learn. They want transformation. And maybe I'm just been blessed, knock on wood, it will stay this way. I don't want to attract anybody else, saying I really
Exactly.
clients.
Exactly. But I do think you do attract what you put out. I
Yeah,
think it
definitely.
comes back to you. So like when we've been in those situations where, like when you were saying about your savings going down, you're focusing on the money sort of thing,
Yes.
then doesn't mean necessarily you're going to attract the money. You actually repel it because you're coming across as like desperate for the money in a way. And you're not in flow, are you? Because I remember doing that myself, and it wasn't aligned,
Yeah.
it didn't feel good. And I felt like I was like panicking, you know what I mean? I was in
Yeah.
that stress, fear kind of moment. Whereas sometimes recently I felt like I've got all this flow, like I'm now trying to outsource to follow things up because it's all flowing to me type of thing. And it's just, you're in the right vibe then.
Yes.
It's like that vibe, isn't it, really? So
And
we would, as regards to like someone, if someone was listening to this thinking, yeah, I've tried to start my own business, or I've started online, and I've struggled a little bit, and hearing your journey of, kind of doing all these different things and evolving, is there anything that you would share as a top tip?
as a
Or
top tip is, so if there are women out there who wants to become
someone who's maybe started already or brand new and wants to start an online business, maybe someone who started and hasn't been successful yet and struggling like we all have, what would you advise them?
I tell you what. First of all, get help. That's, I think, my first advice. I would say, if you want to become an entrepreneur, either way, offline or online, doesn't matter. Get yourself some help to build up that, whatever you kind of want to found. Or is there a coaching program? Is it whatever you want to, whatever you want to do? Don't hesitate to get yourself some help. That's number one. I think that was the best decision ever, that I didn't hesitate. And I tried a lot, before I got my first coach. Obviously, I did try on my own. And it did get you a little bit, to a certain point, but get yourself help. Get yourself a coach. Tip number two, always make sure you keep your energy level up by taking care of yourself, by doing self-care.
Exactly.
Seriously, that is one thing or the second, really big advice I would give to you. Make sure this is always taken care of while you're in your coaching program, while you're developing whatever you do. Make sure physically you're always on top by eating healthy, having a holistic lifestyle, and always make sure that your inner world is also taken care of. Never leave this out. It always comes together. We body, heart, and soul, right? I mean, we are unique, kind of worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
That is actually the third one. And the third one is like, jump. Don't hesitate either. Jump. Go for it. If you keep on hesitating, one of these days, and I work with, in the hospice where people were, taken care of before they die. I'm not even sure if they have that in UK. Do they? Hospice.
Hospice. We've got hospice. Yeah.
Yeah. I work there, and I work also in oncology where people, obviously, they didn't have any time anymore. You know what? They all say the same. I wish I would have done that.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, that is the third advice. Jump, go for it. Because
I also think a lot of women do sit on the fence. Men are more likely to jump.
Yeah.
I've noticed that even though, like, I feel that women that I've worked with, it feels aligned and there's passion and there's purpose. This is generally as well. So any men or women listening to this, I'm making general statements here, but because I'm looking from like an Amazon business perspective, so men tend to go for like the profit margin products rather than the products that fulfill them. That men don't seem as bothered about that. There are men that do, as I say, I'm generalizing, but I do think sometimes women sort of, like you say, sometimes don't make the full decision, and it, like you say, whereas men just tend to jump straight in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're right about this, and that's why I love that we're doing this for women out here. Even though all the men are watching right now, don't feel left out. But actually, you're right. Those women these days, because they have those unique talents and so gifted, and they're hesitating in order to jump and go all in. And I have to admit, I did. After trying out to be a nurse on the side, I did. And you know what? It didn't work because my energy level was dropping while I was working in a hospital on the side, tried to finance myself a little. And actually, it was my husband who told me, Katy, can you please stop it and go all in? We find a way if it's not working out at the beginning. I mean, I was blessed at that point because I know a lot of women out there would say, hey, what if it's not working and I don't have the, my savings are going low. I'm telling you what, work on your mindset for money from the beginning as well. This is one thing I would definitely recommend as well. As women, we still have something in our system that we don't allow, ourselves to earn the money we deserve.
Yeah, exactly.
Something in our system. If we have been watching our mothers, my family, she was a housewife, really nice, lovely housewife, but she didn't have her own money, obviously, because my daddy was the one earning the money for the family. So what did I learn as a woman? I learned from my mother, women don't have their own money, don't they? This is what I learned as a kid, and it's been put in my system. And once I became an entrepreneur, I had to get this out of my system to allow myself to earn money in a decent way.
Yeah. I think a lot. Yeah, I do see a lot of women having like those money blocks with things. And I think
struggling.
It's like you say, they're subconscious blocks you don't realize.
And I call it work with your inner world. That's a part of the whole journey. Once you become an entrepreneur, work with the inner world, work with those issues, work with those programs. I call them programs. Get them out of your system. It's a new era. It's old school. What our mothers have been through, we don't have to go through this anymore. You know, we can leave it behind. And I tell my clients that every day and say, that's old. Let's leave it.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
let's put it out. Hey, you know, that doesn't have to be in your system no more. Let's get it out. And obviously there are certain methods what you can do. I work with hypnosis, for example.
Yeah. And do you do like the reprogramming, like the, what's it called? Is it when you go back?
Yes, reincarnation program as well, by the way. This is possible. You can even go.
That's what I was going to ask you. That what? Tell us about all your programs and how you can help people that might be listening to this. Then what's going on with Katy Kruse right now?
It's Katy Kruse and Tom Cruise.
Every time I say that, I want to do like the whole.
You want to do it? Well, I developed a program called Fit Spirit, and I right now, for all those listening in English, if you're interested, right now I do launch it in German. Obviously, I live in Germany. I right now have German clients, but I do get in touch, and since I used to live in the UK, I still have, know a lot of people, English-speaking people, and they've all been asking. So if you're interested, please send me a message, Instagram, Katy Kruse, or Facebook, and then we'll sort it out, and I'll tell you all about it, because usually everything is written in German. But what I do is, like, I have this program where I take care of those high sensitive women who need, let's say, a lot of guidance in order to become the best version of themselves, physically, mentally, and and also talk about the soul connection, which I'm taking care of. And this is what I do. It's a 12 weeks program where I put everything into it. We exercise in front of the camera. We talk about nutrition. We look at your diet. We look at your sleep. That is all, that's foundation training basically. But we also work with your issues, with your inner world. I look and I'm listening a lot to your journey, to your life journey, and to what you have been through. And then I hear right away, like, okay, I hear something. This is from your mom. This is basically something what can we lose now, get out of your system. Because obviously those women who come into me, they have a problem, whatever that is, low on energy, physically not, on top of, of the best self, or not, best version of themselves, but also they're feeling like they're going through life with the brakes, not loose. Can you say that?
Yeah.
And this is what I help them with. I'm loosening everything physically and also mentally, and I connect them back to their soul in order to make the best version of themselves. And that's what I do. And if you guys are listening and you like the idea, because it's a holistic approach, then please feel free to contact me, and I tell you more about it.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I will put your is Instagram, or which one is Instagram the best way to connect with you?
Actually, social media channels I'm using right now is Facebook or Instagram. Both
so
of them.
Put those links. We'll make sure we put those links in the comments. So if anybody wants to go and check them out, you'll be able to find those details in there. So yeah, great. That sounds fab. Also, one question that I always ask everybody on these interviews, because obviously we are the Freedom Podcast. What does, I know obviously you were saying at the beginning, the pillars really fit with you, and how, your lifestyle and where the goal for you, I suppose, and you'd like achieving that right now, which is great. What does freedom mean to you?
Freedom means to me that you, on all levels, physically, mentally, and so connected, you can feel yourself and live the best version of yourself. That's freedom for me. If I'm physically in the best shape, I can do whatever. I can still jump and play. Just like children. I have the energy for it. Mentally, on the top, I can hear and listen what people say, can connect it. Soul-wise, the same thing. I'm feeling energy, and I feel so alive, and I feel, knowledge. and this is all for me. If you put it together, that's freedom for me, to feel it on all level. And at that point, if you go a step further, obviously freedom is also for me, if I'm on top of that game basically, and then the best version of myself. Freedom is also when you then leave, let's say, society leave on the side, and you live a life which actually fits to your personality. And if you, let's say, want to have for profession, go for it. If you don't want to live in one country, I mean, obviously you have to
be careful right now.
Careful right now, but still it will come back to
Yeah,
it, like certain thing. And then feel free to maybe live half of the time, let's say Berlin, London, Bali, wherever your soul is leading you to. That's freedom for me as well.
Yeah.
All together. But first of all, obviously, if I'm in, best version of myself, that's the first step of feeling on and living freedom. And second step is like leave society or whatever they tell you behind, and then go for it. You want to, even if you're in your 40s, 50s, you want to have
exactly
profession if you're still into it. If you, like I said, don't hold back anymore.
We put these preconceived things we put excuses in our way, don't we? Oh, I'm too old, or oh, that's,
there you go.
There's always these.
But then you're not free, no?
Exactly.
And that's freedom for me, that even if you're in your 40s or 50s and you make a decision saying, you know what, I want to become a professional, I don't know, professional whatever, then go for it.
I think you're such an inspiring person, because I think, anybody that's listening to this who has always had that inkling of, oh, I've always wanted to do this, I think will feel inspired by this interview, because you've got so much energy. And I agree. I think being the best version of yourself can help you achieve the world, really, can't it? But getting yourself in, like you say, not just physical, but your soul and mentally ready to kind of get the life's there for us to grab stuff, isn't it? So
and even if you have a life where you maybe say, but job, kid, family, husband, there's always a solution. Never about this. There's always a solution. It's all about yourself. And if you really have the desire to live the best version of yourself, and you have a good, let's say, relationship, that person will support you, because everybody around you wants you to be happy. No, that's the main goal.
Exactly.
So if you have a partner who is holding you back, then you might want to, kind of think about that relationship. I don't want to say it's, I don't want to, judge anybody. And if you're happy with your partner, go for it. But I tell you what, my husband, if I would tell him now, listen up, I want to go to Israel and I don't know, work on an orange farm, because that would make me happy. He would be the one who would buy the ticket before me, because he knows how important it is that your partner is happy and fulfilled, and because then he knows that I can make him happy. But the first goal is always, I need to make sure I'm the best version of myself and I live in a good life, and we will find a way.
Definitely.
We would always find a way, and this is
there's always a solution, isn't it? There's always a way to get to fulfill our purpose, really, isn't it? As well as like dreams and all these different things and money along the way. But I think it's so important to make sure that we feel fulfilled in whatever we're doing. So for people who are thinking they might have an idea, because I do think this whole situation at the moment with COVID has put people into that waking up state of thinking, am I really happy? There's an opportunity here, or do I really want, say you've lost your job, you might be thinking, well, could I set something up on my own? Or people are turning to the internet a lot more, aren't they? So this could be an opportunity, if you're listening to this, that you can make those changes and just go for your dreams, really, and go for what makes you happy. So thank you very much for your time.
I loved it.
And for everybody listening, you'll be able to get all Katy's details if you want to connect with her. And it's interesting, actually, me and Katy connected. We were doing like we're part of like an Instagram group. And it's been amazing how many people have connected from that group, really.
I know, it's amazing. I love it. And especially thinking about where they're all from, right? I love this.
Exactly. Everyone's from, it's like a little international Instagram group, isn't it, really?
And I love how we support each other. It is really good. It helped me a lot, I have to say. You know, this is one, it was the best decision ever because, you know, kind of my business kind of flew because of that, and Instagram will follow us. It's really nice what we've been doing. So
yeah, exactly. So come and join us if you're listening. Come and find us all on Instagram.
Yes.
And Katie's details are in the comments section. But thanks ever so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it. And
loved it.
Yeah, reach out to us if you want more info for those guys that are listening. But thanks very much again, Katy.
Oh, always. Thank you very much. And yeah, girls out there, don't hesitate. Boys and girls.
Love it. All right. Thanks, Katy.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thank you for listening. Hope you had a blast. Here to elevate your life. It's the Freedom Podcast. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. Wanna see you all win. Wanna see you all shine. Just make sure that you subscribe. Bringing good vibes. Join the Facebook group. Now it's time to change your life. Hope you come back. Right now is the chance. This is an experience. It's the Freedom Podcast. Hey.